Oh, well, hello there. A shorter episode today. Probably, hopefully. Counting on not dying. We're gonna finish up the Earthen Peak. And hope this intro I just did doesn't get muted from the VOD. I'm just kind of using the Twitch VODs and uploading them to YouTube because I don't have enough hard drive space, really, to hold all the local recordings I would have to do. We're gonna go to Majula real quick, spend those souls we got from beating the covetous demon. Or anything else? Let's talk to Chloe.
Oh, fancy meeting you here. Speak up if you need anything at all, alright?
And as you can see, she's now looking at a skeleton hand. Once again, most likely not where you're going to find gemstones or minerals or whatever it is you're looking for there. I think you're bad at your job, Chloe, to be honest with you.
These stones may look all the same, but to the trained eye, each is unique. Some of them are used to smith weapons and armor, and some unique stones provide special benefits. Some of them are extremely rare and should be used with great thrift. None of the differences are easily spotted, but I've learned quite a lot, really. You know how they call this place Drang Lake, right? Well, in the old lore, in stories and the like, they said it had another name. What was it? Well, I don't know. It's just something I heard. Since long, long ago, many kingdoms have risen and fallen on this very spot. Each like a great flame that turns to soot. Maybe that's why people don't remember much about the past.
Now that is an interesting dialogue. Now, if you've played the first game you went to this, you presumed that she would be talking about Lordran, or just the general Dark Souls 1 area. I'm not too sure that's the case, because there's some other material that suggests that Drang Lake is actually on a completely opposite continent, but I think that's more a reference to just the time scope that Souls series acts on. This could take place millennia before or after Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3. And, in fact, there's areas in this game that probably take place several centuries apart from other areas in this game. That's why it's really hard to get concrete lore out of these games, because they operate on that kind of loose ideas like that. And so yeah.
You see that blacksmith over there? Is he one of those hollows? He seems to keep eyeing me up. He sort of looks like my father. He's a blacksmith too, you see. The poor man's such a worrywart. But he wouldn't follow me out here, would he? I was born in a land to the west, Volgan, famous for its merchants. There were great, bustling cities. But for me, they were suffocating. And so I set out, in search of stones in faraway lands. There are dangers, for certain, but I much prefer to live this way. But for the life of me, I can't remember how I ended up here. It's as if I were drawn to the place, or lured in. Oh, I don't know.
I went for that second option because it mentions that she's forgetting herself and forgetting her memories, which, again, is part of the undead curse, which would make her hollow, even though she doesn't look it. And then she mentions our blacksmith buddy over there, and how... So, you have to wonder if she knows she's hollow, if she thinks she's hollow, if she is hollow. Maybe she's just got it. She's got a poor memory. That the one person, maybe whatever forced straws hollows to Drain Lake, just kind of made a mistake. I don't think that's the case, though.
These stones may look.
And there we go.
None of them.
Now, like I said, she sells you upgrade materials. Not really anything useful for us right now, but she gets more as we go on. We can talk to our buddy here, see what he has to say about her.
I knew you'd be around soon. How goes your journey? Take these. They should help a bit.
Yeah, he gives you that. I believe the trigger for that is Chloan.
My witless daughter finally came home. Just as oblivious as she's always been. Well, at least now I can keep an eye on her. Stones, try asking my daughter. You might be surprised. Drat. You're worse than my reckless daughter. Don't spend your whole life in transit, you hear? Don't waste my time.
So, between Lenigrast and Chloan, I've always kind of wondered what the exact story is here, because, spoiler alert, we don't really get a conclusion to that. Whether or not she really is his daughter, and she's forgotten it, because her mind, at least, is hollowing, if not her body. Or Lenigrast is just mistaken, and his whole hollow mind thinks that any woman really is his daughter. But then he mentions specifics, like how she's traveling the world, which she is, and that she works with stones. So, but once again, Lenigrast is quite obviously hollow. Probably one of the most hollow, outwardly hollow-looking characters that you get, other than maybe Melentia over there. But she could just be old. You know how old people get those crazy crook hands. It happens. Our Ibai isn't on. Just realized. There you go. So, yeah, they do get a little bit more dialogue later on, I think, but nothing conclusive.
Bearer of the curtains,
Seek less. Alright, let's get this up to 30. That'd be nice. And we can attune some stuff. Let's see. Oh, when do we get Chameleon? Chameleon's a fun spell. I don't know when we got it, but I'll show it to you. How you doing? Yep, I know how that feels. It just turns you into a random item from the area you're in, and it's mostly for tricking people in PvP. I don't think it actually does a single thing in PvE, like enemies are going to be fooled or anything like that. I don't believe. But if you attack out of them, you get out of it. And it could be a barrel. And if you could do PvP in Majula, I could sit here and nobody will be none the wiser until I come up with backseat. don't remember where we got that, but we have it now. We can play some prop hunt. We want... show you Shockwave as well. It's a little different from Emit Force. I think I showed you where Emit Force goes around you and Shockwave is a projectile that makes the burst go off longer range. Now we can't use Soul Spear yet, even though we would like to. Let's just get some more soul arrows. Be boring, but Majory is kind of boring until later on. We get the good stuff. Yeah, me again. It's always gonna be me. Nobody else is giving you anything for anything you got, and you said that yourself. Okay, back to the Earthen Gate. I'm a little tired today, so I might not be my usual chipper self. I might stumble on my words even more than I usually do. I didn't know that was possible either, but oh, you'll see. You will see. This area can be kind of a bitch. Especially the first time you go through there, because there's a lot of those mannequin guys waiting to spook you. It's real easy to get poisoned if you don't know the exact areas you can get poisoned in. Now this is an interesting thing. You can see this big vat of poison there. You can pull this, raise it up. I don't know the point of that. I guess it gets it out of your way, but it doesn't do much of anything else. So, just a little fun thing to do, I guess. You think this would be a illusionary wall, but it's not. This looks like it. Okay. Take these guys out, being jerks. Now you can tell this area is quite obviously industrialized in some way. And as we read from the Mannequin Claw description, I believe, these contraptions are used to mine poison, it looks like. And again, not to mine stuff that you usually mine. So that's why I think either it's the patented souls, the land is, time is convoluted and the land's mashed together, or this was built upon the mine years and years later, which is possible because, like I said, the Soul series timeline takes place across millennia, centuries, decades, years, minutes, probably. So yeah, most likely for me at least is Old Iron King's mine. Hollows hit poison. A lady who loved poison came here, built all this to get the poison. Okay, now this guy up here. These are interesting, very interesting. Interesting is interesting. I say interesting wrong. But I'm not sure it is. These are called Grave Wardens. And I'm not sure it's actually accurate to call them hollow. Undead, most likely, is very accurate. For now, just know that they have a very interesting name for the kind of creature, sect, whatever they belong to. But we won't find that out until quite a bit later. So just for now, they're Grave Wardens. And you can tell they have kind of unique coloration on their skin. Why they are here, though, is an interesting question. I don't know why they're here exactly. It's like I said, the place where they probably originate from and where they're in the highest amount of population is not near here. Nice flip, bro. Oh, hey. Oh no! Thought he died. Thought he died. That was a good move, my friend. I have a little bit of issue reading health bars in these games. Dark Souls 1, I couldn't tell like at all where the health bars were, and I think that's my color blindness coming into play again, which is another reason. I think I got the skin color right. Now that I'm looking at it more, I think this is a normal skin color for human beings, and not green. But I couldn't really play Dark Souls 1 all that easily until the PC version came out and you could get a mod that changed the health bars, like the when you hit things, the health bar doesn't immediately go to 0 in that, or like empty in that game. It like turns into a lighter red color that I could not tell the difference between that and the regular red color. But you could get a mod that turned it blue, which helped me a lot. But I still had some issues in this game. See you over there. Hide him behind that chest. I do like, in this game, you can see a lot of the ambushes. You probably noticed, we can see a lot of the ambushes before they get us. I do like that you can thwart the game developers' dick moves if you're just a little observant and you've got the tools to handle it. I don't know where that guy that we hit went, so he might show up in an opportune time. Well, these guys, their hitboxes can be kind of wonky. So they get pretty much any hitbox in this game that has that long, like a sweep-like animation. A lot of times they'll hit you before you know it. We got his pants. Bottoms worn by Wardens of the Crypt. The Wardens of the Crypt watch over the slumbering dead, making sure they are not awoken. Be they king or peasant, wise or dull, rich or poor, the Wardens treat them with the same care. That looks alright. It fits our kind of gangly, shabby-looking look, but I kind of like the brigand trousers a little bit more right now. We need to get some robes. So yeah, as you can tell, this is not a crypt. This is not even close to a crypt. So I don't know why they're here. Thankfully, in this game, they changed it to yellow. But I also had trouble seeing yellows. So come over here. I typically like to backstab these guys. I don't like. They are parryable fairly easily, but I always have issues hitting, parrying big sweeping attacks like that with spears and stuff. And this is not a boss, but instead a bonfire. I don't know why there's a fog gate there. I guess it's to make you trepidatious on going through it. So maybe you don't get this bonfire. I don't know why they would do that. It seems like a jerk move, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, it's a bonfire. And it's a very useful bonfire. First we're gonna get this jerk. That jerk. Because if you play this online, you'll probably see a lot of messages around here. And this is one of the most unintuitive parts of this game, is the upcoming boss fight. The room is filled with poison, and that poison will, of course, poison you and heal the boss. But if you do this, you can tell you can set light to, you would assume, this windmill thing here. Now, how we're going to set light to the obviously metal, like, pivot of this big thing, I don't know, but you can do it. I don't know how that works. But this stops, somehow, the production of poison in the boss fight, and in some other areas of the level. It's a cool idea that I believe was poorly executed, because as you can tell, it just set the windmill on fire. The windmill's still turning. That prompt does not come up unless you have a torch in your hand, which you probably wouldn't because this area is not very dark. Oh, it does stop eventually. But yeah. You don't technically need to do that. The boss is completely beatable without it. If you have enough damage, because like I said, the boss is constantly getting healed. So if you have like a cruddy weapon, then you're gonna run into some issues. Firebomb. Now you can see here is another floor plate, and up there's another thing that's gonna shoot arrows at us. Mannequin mask. So now we can see what these guys would look like if they had their hits. Mask of the Mannequins of Harvest Valley. The fickle queen gave them life and tore off their faces. How else would she forgive those who dared gaze upon her? Oh. See, this is why she took out their faces. Okay, that's why you don't have your head anymore, is because you do that to people, and you're a jerk. How else could she forgive those who dared gaze upon her? And that's what they looked like, until she took off their head. But this queen does not seem to be very nice, to be honest with you. Oh, poisoned. Give me a second here. Hey, I said give me a second here, alright? Y'all deserved it. Y'all deserve to have your faces torn. You can get nice old Bashful Ray. We've earned his trust. We've broken him out of his shell, out of his bashful shell. And he will help us again. We don't need it. Now you can close this door, which serves no purpose, other than, I suppose, PvP. You can trap somebody in there. What was that noise? I don't know. You can break this. Another kind of unintuitive part of this area, because you can't really... Oh no, you can't break. I think in the original game you could, but I might be wrong there. You do want to go over here, because there's a very illuminating NPC.
Shush, you idiot. Stay quiet. I'm on the run. Don't give me away. You're a fugitive too, eh? Yeah? Why else would you be here? It's got death written all over it. You want to climb down here? I can lend you a ladder. But, how much can you offer me? Why, yep, I'm trying to help you, you know? Have you no gratitude? Downright rude, really. I've got a soft heart, so I let you off. This once. All right. It'll be just a moment. Go on ahead. I won't offer this deal twice. Oh, what is it? What do you need now? Huh?
This is the laddersmith Gilligan. He likes ladders, and he'll make you ladders for money. Even though he had that ladder there, we could have just picked that up and put it down ourselves. But, and you know, it's his ladder. We don't want to be rude about it. I like laddersmith Gilligan a lot. I think he's a kind of a breath of fresh air in the Souls series because he's not all that cryptic. he's mostly just a dude. Like, he's there, he wants to sell you ladders. You know, he's kind of thrifty. But he's, I don't know, very human, I guess. And he teach you to prostrate.
Have you heard? Well, apparently, there's this monster lady, right? And the poison, well, does wonders for her body. You know, health and beauty and that sort of stuff. And I thought only human women were so petty. That creature, she was human once, you know? Huh? In fact, she was wed to the prince of that nearby castle. But her husband? He had feelings for another. The princess was desperate and sought eternal beauty, hoping that it would restore the prince's affection. You see what I mean?
Now, he is talking about the queen we've heard about. So we have kind of a typical super vain queen. That's why she tore off the faces, because nobody dare gaze upon her beauty. Now, the prince he talks about, we don't know much about. I don't believe he's anywhere in the game. But again, I do like that he just kind of tells you the story. There's no seek less, go do the same because I say so. He tells you a story.
Before long, the princess's ire transformed her into a monster. Now, listen here. When do you think this all happened? Long ago, when this very land was called something else. We say Drangleic now, but countless kingdoms have risen and fallen on this very spot. And this won't be the last. Oh no.
Again, a lot of people thought this meant that this was Lordran or somewhere, some other Dark Souls 1 area. I think it's mostly just to point out once again that time is convoluted.
That damned hag just can't let her old flame go. She's going to get us all burnt. God almighty. I'm not going to die in this dump. God, I'm not go-
And that, basically, that signals him to, go to Majula. And he sells a ladder miniature, a small ornamental ladder, a quaint little thing, but only for show. This ornament does not seem to have any particular function, should not be worth much, but is sold at an exorbitant price. And that's true, it doesn't do anything. You can't look at it, can't do anything. You just spend that money and you get a ladder miniature in your inventory. He does sell the black leather stuff, which is like one of my favorite armor sets, because I usually play thiefish characters in this game. I'm gonna buy a couple things. And he sells claws, which is nice, because in the other games, the claws are kind of a rare item.
No, mate. These deals, they won't last forever.
Okay, let's go down that ladder he so graciously put down. You get a good look over Harvest Valley once again. And it just gives us a Ferris Lockstone and a Twinkling Titan. I believe originally that was a fragrant branch of yore or something in the original Dark Souls 2. I don't think it was that. I think it was a bit more important. But now it is a Ferris Lockstone and a Twinkling Titan. Some more spice. Probably tell this looks to be an elevator. Oh. Nice coordination there, guys. Don't hit me. Don't hit me. Okay. Let me, no. Ah. I should have just life gemmed. And a big benefit of life gems is, you can do them while moving. You have to stop to drink. So play enough of this game and you'll get, you'll kind of get in a rhythm with life gems and using them on the move. And speed kills when it comes to enemies in Dark Souls games, I find. Alright, round 2. Ah, I always forget that second one. Ah. Okay, alright. Alright, fellas. Good, okay. I think I kept expecting my swing to hit the one in the back, and it wasn't. Because we got such a short little mace. It's just got a short range and just does that. So, have to keep that in. And it is indeed an elevator in this pull lever over here. Pull lever? I don't know. This pull thing does indeed raise it. But we kind of want to see what's underneath it. Now you have to be quick here. Because it will come back down. And it will squish you. There you go. And we're gonna go this way first. We're not even gonna get on the stinking elevator. Because we got a date with Pate.
We went through a lot together. Take this as a token of our friendship.
Now, we've seen a lot of times where an NPC will say, take these, and give you one thing. He says, take this, and gives us like 8,000 items. It's a lot of good stuff. Honestly, this Pate guy just seems...
Don't be shy. They were meant for you.
I wasn't ready yet, Pate. This Pate guy seems nice, very generous. Although, if you think about it, if we put on all his armor, we'd look like him, wouldn't we? And he is, in some ways, a hunted man.
Well, we meet again. There's treasure this way, but I have a bad feeling about it. I don't quite have the guts myself. Well, I don't quite...
Okay, so he mentions that and doesn't tell you anything else. To continue his, little story here, you have to find that treasure, which we will do after we read this. The long spear wielded by Pate. This appears to be a very ordinary spear, but seems to have accumulated power over the course of countless battles. It is not always advisable to stand out, especially have something to hide. Well, thanks for the spoilers there, item descriptions. Where's his armor? There's his armor. Though it appears to be common armor, it has, in fact, been meticulously customized, belonging to mild-mannered Pate. This has been considerably altered. Perhaps it was pillaged. So, if you read the item descriptions, they don't like Pate either, it seems. Much like Crichton. I like him, okay? He's my buddy, he's helped me out. He told me go get some treasure, so I'm gonna go get that treasure. Also alludes to the fact that Pate is a bit more of an accomplished warrior than he lets on. Or he steals from accomplished warriors. Now the treasure's over there. Got some more of their pants. They like to drop their pants. Ah! Rude. Treasure's over there. In front of this guy. It is difficult to get to because once again you have to jump, and jumping sucks in Dark Souls. Trying to hit this guy. I don't gotta deal with it. Not doing too well at it. It is quite finicky to aim spells without locking on. Okay, he's just gonna sit there and block. So you have to jump from here to over there. Now you can't make it, so you have to try and aim for that little sliver of a cliff there. Let's see if we can do it without dying. And then we have to fight that guy on the small platform. Oh, didn't do it. And then you die. Yeah. Jumping sucks in Dark Souls. So yeah, I must have just been like a split second too late on pressing the jump button, so I just gotta roll. Which sucks. Ready for you this time, buckos. And you can tell they do both bleed and poison, which can make them quite dangerous. Nice and smooth. Okay, round 2. Yay. Alright, buddy. Those can poison you if you're too close to them when they break like that. But we're good. It's not much. It used to be, I believe, the crystal spear magic? I think it was a magic of some kind. Now to get back, it's also an issue, but I believe you can drop down there to get that item. But we're not going to. Instead, we're going to try to jump back. Yay. And you want to drop down here. And you can open that door we couldn't open before. Talk to our buddy.
Well, we mean this treasure? I don't quite...
Oh, the treasure's the thing down here. Never mind. We'll get it. Lightning spear, that was it. They must have changed it in Scholar of the First Sin. And we know there's a guy behind this treasure chest. That's the one we saw before that ran off. You want to be careful here not to hit that chest while you're killing him. Get a pike. I don't believe there's anything important about that pike. It's just a pike. A spear weapon. Meant for stabbing people. Here's another one of those pots that you can raise. Again, not sure why. I think maybe if you drop it on somebody, it might blow, like, poison them. I don't know though. It's a weird thing. We'll get that later, because I prefer to have the silver cat ring, which is a ring that reduces fall damage. We're going for some items and stuff in this game. We'll get that later from Shalqual. Let's go talk to Pate once more. I believe that's what he wished of us. They deal with that guy later.
Well, I don't quite have to...
Maybe I don't know this game as well as I do. I think maybe we got it, and he's just gonna disappear and go, hopefully, to where we need him to be. This area up here can be pretty dangerous. You see there's a desert sorceress over there in her thigh highs. But there's also one over there. So you really don't want to go in there. And it's very useful to be able to take that one out, or just knock it down there. It's not dead though, so it's gonna just keep throwing it at us. Because if they both cast that delayed fireball at the same time, you're pretty much dead. Okay, Dragon Charm. Did we re-Dragon Charm? Cures poison and greatly restores HP. A rare ancient charm that is said to be endowed with the power of dragons. It's not clear whether it is man-made. Yeah, we read that before. I believe this is a trap chest. Yes, it is. Another lockstone. If you could, please, stop doing that. It is quite loud. I'm surprised I didn't hit us. Oh, I didn't want to drop down there. Not yet. Okay, we're good at the end. Oh! That is a rare drop and a very good ring. A ring used long ago in a land that existed where Drang Lake does now. Extends length of spell effect. The ancient dragons were once worshipped in several nations, and rumors concerning objects of similar enchantment to this uncommon ring abound, and many lands, through their origins, are no longer verifiable. So this will be useful if we end up using something like magic weapon. Let's take a ride. I'm gonna equip some my radiant life gems in case we need them. Mira Shield. Now we know this as the area that both Creighton and Lucatil are from. Shield issued to the proud knights of Mira's official order. In Mira, a land perennially beset by unrest, this shield was a symbol of the great knights' strength and unwillingness to give their lives for their country. Can we use that? Let's go ahead and use that. I like Mira's stuff. Elite the town. Okay, now that whole area over there is pretty optional. You miss out on Pate and the Ladder Master, so not technically optional, but you'll probably want to end up going through there on your first playthrough. I hear you over there. Oh, there was a bleed. See, I took damage there. Bleed does go through shields. The buildup does. In the damage, but that's obvious. I believe it does reduce it, but you still get hit by it. And it just does a chunk of damage. Alright, let's become human once more. In Detroit. Detroit to become human. I never played that game. Not a super fan of David Cage games. But that's not what this game isn't a David Cage game at all. Ready for you this time. Oh. Oh. Oh, there's another. Oh. Okay. The short range of our mace is kind of causing issues with these guys because they have a lot of range and they're quite quick. I believe there were less here before, and they added more in Scholar of the First Sin. The Scholar of the First Sin. It makes it quite a bit more difficult. I believe you can actually, yeah. Once again, as long as you're observant, you can actually thwart a lot of the developers' tricks. Which is not the case, I think, in the other Souls games. Something I think this game does a bit better than those. Because I do not like the kind of burden of knowledge that's responsible for much of the difficulty in these games, in my opinion. Like, just talking about Souls in general, basically, like I said, there's no point, really, in upgrading armor in any of the games. But, A newer player might notice that they're getting killed in like 2 or 3 hits. So they're going to use their initial upgrade materials on their armor. They're like, okay, I'll use my armor. I'm taking too much damage, so let me upgrade my armor. But that's precisely the opposite of what you want to do. And I feel like that's just a burden of knowledge thing, not a. I mean, I guess you could say that's a difficulty, but it's not one I'm fond of. I believe over here. No, it's further on. I heard that. I heard that. I'm hearing that. I don't know where that's coming from. It might be a mannequin that's stuck somewhere. I'm gonna just run past here. There's a pyromancer lady up there, and another one of these assassin shadow things. Again, these are new in Scholar of the First Sin. Not these enemies exactly, but their placements in the world outside of New Game Plus. Now, there's a very important illusionary wall up ahead. In fact, there's 2. Blew my mind first time I saw that these were here. In fact, I found this one on my first playthrough. Get a petrified something. But not this one over here, which is something much more useful. A dang bonfire. It's weird that they hit a bonfire. Now this area here that we passed, that's the area to the boss. And if we did not burn that windmill, that would be covered in poison. And it slows you when you walk through it, so you're pretty much guaranteed to get poisoned when you walk through there. Just like you're pretty much guaranteed to get poisoned if you try to roll through all these urns here. In fact, we're probably going to get poisoned. Yep. Let's eat our moss. Stop farting on me, bugs. It's not nice. Stinky. Stinky poo-poo. Make me feel bad. Oh. Now, the actual boss itself, perhaps ironically, cannot poison you. So I'm alright using all these poison mosses in the area here. Now, if you look closely at this chest, see if I can get the focus right. So it looks like there's something poking out of it. That's because this here is a mimic. Unlike in the first game where you could tell based on, like, if the chest in that game had chains, and if they were facing a certain way, it was a mimic. This one, you can actually see the teeth of the mimics. And this is also why they made it so you can destroy these wooden chests. Not all mimics are wooden chests. There are metal chest mimics. But it makes it so that you gotta think a little bit before you start hitting chests. But this one, he did hit it. Now, I'm not gonna kill it right away. Although it's gonna kill itself right away. But you can tell there, these, unlike the games in the first one, are not bipedal, or at least they don't choose to be. And instead they crawl on the ground. Robert Lee, I am 69. Nice. Robert Lee had asked me what level I was. This is gonna be a kind of a waste of a Pharaoh's Lockstone, but they're a bit more plentiful in this version of the game, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. And he makes you go cry. So I'm sorry, Pharaohs. It makes a pretty sound. This water I believe heals you of poison. If I did not burn that windmill, it would instead be poison. And I would basically just get poisoned if I stand here. So that's why it's kind of a waste. But interesting little quirk they put in here. Oh, let's read the new items we got. A hook that covers the hand. Interesting. Clearly not intended as a weapon, but certainly sharp enough to shred an enemy's skin. I like how the hook hand looks. And again, it's not actually all that terrible. What did we replace? We replaced Dark Catalyst. There we go. And the Dark Gauntlets, which are an interesting item. Gauntlets of a knight subsumed by dark. No one knows the true identity of these men who are said to freely manipulate dark. Old foreign legends describe them as poor souls who chase the lost art of life drain. Oh, excuse me. Now, if you play Dark Souls 1, you know what these represent. Robert Lee asks, is Dark Mage OP in this, like, Dark Souls 1? Yes, they're called hexes in this game, and they're like a separate, what was I using before? They're a separate kind of idea from, sorceries and, pyromancies, but they are probably the strongest. That's not what we're using. They are probably the strongest build for PvP and the like. At least from what I remember playing. We're gonna ignore that lady over there. Well, no, we could get her armor, so I'm gonna go up there and kill her after I deal with these. Ah. Now this guy's crawling on the ground. Oh, hey, she's coming to me. Oh, that range on the mace coming to screw us again. Let's see if we can get the drop on her. There we go. Oh, poisoned himself. Now, those things crawling on the ground, if the poison was still around, they would still be in there. And they would not be getting poisoned. And you can't actually see them all that well, so they can get you ankles if you're not careful. This boy, and then we'll see who's over there. Jester Thomas. Now, Jester Thomas is one of those summons that aren't actually NPCs, although he does appear again. So I am going to summon him just because I like him. He's a nice guy. But also because I'm not sure if you have to summon him to trigger his later appearance or not. I don't really need him, but he is very useful. You see, he dual wields pyromancy hands, which is interesting, but he does have very strong pyromancy. A poison stone, which will let you put poison on your weapon. Infuse it with, it's the poison resin, makes you just put it on it temporarily. But this is a boss. This will be the princess that Gilligan was talking about, and that we've heard so much about, and who took off all the heads of the mannequins because she's mean. See, there's poison here, but if we did not burn that windmill, it would be all over this area. Unavoidable, completely. See, she doesn't have a head, just like her mannequins. She's carrying hers. And like I said, interestingly, she does not have any way to poison you herself. Instead, she fires off pyromancies from her head. It's an interesting way to do it. She's not too hard. As you can see, Jester Thomas can basically solo her. I kind of forgot that aspect, so I'll hit it just so it looks like I'm doing something. So she can be a toughie if you fight her alone, especially if you don't know you can burn the poison. But Jester Thomas is a beast of a summon. But other than that, you just have to watch out for sorceries. That first one she hit us with is that Soul Spear that we're so eager to use once we get enough intelligence to do so. And she can also throw her head, which is probably her most dangerous attack. She can throw her head, and it'll just do a big explosion. Sorcery explosion, and it's kind of hard to dodge that. So that is most of Earthen Peak, I believe. Oh, let's read her soul. Mitha, the Baneful Queen. Soul of Mitha, the Baneful Queen, who lives in the Earthen Peak. The queen sought the king's affection, even poisoning herself to attain beauty, despite the monstrous consequences. All for the compelling madness known as love. Use the special soul of the queen to blue blah, blah blah blue blah blah. Now the king, who he is, like I said, we don't really know. It's possible it is the old Iron King. Possible, but like I said, my idea of it is the old Iron King came well before Mitha did. Or perhaps after, because we know the old Iron King did interact with Vendrick, at least at some point. But the compelling madness known as love. This, if you remember, the covetous demon was also all about affections and stuff, and the word that you need to associate with Dark Souls 2 for a lot of these bosses is desire. Desire is quite a big theme in Dark Souls 2, and how it relates to humanity and how the curse kind of interacts and both pushes desire and erodes it in some ways. But we'll get into the more specifics of the themes when they're more overt. Quite a difference. This is the Iron King, and it is the first real difficulty spike in this game, in my opinion, at least. So we will tackle this next time. History. Next episode, if you are watching this on YouTube. And, as you can probably tell, this is the place of the old Iron King that we've been hearing so much about. So, thank you very much for watching. Robert Lee, if you're still here, thank you for joining me and talking a little bit. And yeah, once again, I've been thinking about streaming some other stuff, but for now I want to finish this little series that I'm doing. And yeah, next time we'll go to the Iron Keep. Bye bye. I love you so much. You are so good to me. I love